as you know, some of your products get traded on the secondary market. What's your take on that?
The problem is the moment people start seeing this as a trading platform, a trading item, it loses its primary function.
Tariffs have very much been on everybody's lips.
Tariffs, they proper hangovers.
Welcome back to TNA Tourism News Africa. My name is Lloyd Jusa. I'm hanging out here with none other than Eben Sadie himself. You know what I never really got? Everybody else in the Swartland has got a nickname. Is there a nickname that people call you by?
Not that I know of, but there will be something because we're great at breaking each other down. So,
okay.
Yeah, I've escaped that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just Eben.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Yeah. Anyways, I want us to move on to a very delicate topic. All right, if you allow me to go there. Let's talk about the presence of a secondary market in South Africa specifically. And as you know, some of your products get traded on the secondary market. What's your take on that?
It's I think for a lot of producers in the world, they'll view that as a compliment in terms of kind of a vote of confidence. You know, like this wine has moved to another level. But so it is our reality, but it's actually, if you take a very long-term view, it's actually not of interest to us, and it's actually a massive concern, and I'll explain why. The primary function of a bottle of wine is that somebody buys it, and somebody pours it, and somebody drinks it. That is why it's there. That's why that's the regional reason for the existence of this. What's now happening in the world, and it's not just isolated. It's not just us. I mean, there's even wines that's got much bigger secondary markets, tertiary markets, you know. The problem is if the moment people start seeing this as a trading platform, a trading item, it loses its primary function. And what's happening in the world, so people just keep on trading, and that would have worked if it was once-off items. But you have a vintage every year.
Yes.
Every year, the 1st of February, the grapes come to our door and say, knocking, we want to come in, and you have another year of production. So what's happening, I might have a client, we might sell this bottle of wine just for arbitrary terms, just nice round numbers. Say we sell it for $1.
Okay.
Then the guy buys it, and literally 12 months later, he puts it on a website, an auction, whatever. Now the guys see it's $3. Now what's happening is our members or clients that's just bought the wine for $1 also goes onto the same websites or platforms to go buy other producers' wines and things like that. Now the wine's sitting there at brokerage at $3. So now it's 300% more valuable. Yeah. Now my client that just saw that new price tag, the fact that he's paid $1 for it, that's out of the window now. That wine's worth, to his mind or her mind, $3.
Certainly.
So now he's much more, or she is much more reluctant to open that bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Because now it might be real money. Exactly. So what's happening is we sit with a issue in the world that the Generation Z, they all want to look good on Instagram, so they don't really drink. I don't know what they do. I think they eat gummies or whatever and sniff lines or whatever takes them places. But so we sit with a young generation that doesn't really connect with wine, and we have to sort it out because, I mean, the cultural aspects of wine as a beverage is, you know, wine is about provenance. It's about a place. It's about a site. It's about a story. It's about a philosophy. It's not a product like any product out there. It's linked to a place. It's got provenance. And there's amazing cultural aspects to wine. And it's if you're looking for a rabbit hole in the world to go down into, wine is a great one because it's massive. So we have this huge cultural activity globally, and we have a generation that's not latching to it, and the generation that's actually still engaged with wine and all of that, we now actually discouraging them with the secondary market and the effect and the financial bearing. We're building up more resistance to drinking bottles of wine. For somebody to buy a bottle of wine purely to flip it in 12 months' time or 6 months' time, there's no value add.
Wait for the ratings, see how the ratings score the wine, and then they try to flip it
whatever.
afterwards.
So it's that whole, the perception of what that wine is, it just becomes a trading aspect. And I mean, the wine's losing its function. It's to be drunk. People need to pour it in glasses.
I think you've been very outspoken about it, that you feel that your wines sometimes when they get to other establishments or when they get out into the market, they are unobtainable. There's this restriction when it comes to the pricing part of it. So I just needed to get your take on that.
No, and it's
on the secondary
fueled.
Market.
In our case, it's obviously massively fueled because we can't ever have the supply that's required in the market because we're not chasing quantity, we're not chasing volume, we're not chasing production, we're not chasing our financial balance sheet, we're chasing the quality in this bottle of wine, and we're not making more of it. The 22 vineyards that's in this wine is in this wine, and they produce X amount of fruit, and every year there's more people that want these wines. So it's a festering aspect that then leads to almost all of this happening. And I just can't see it being good. And it's actually quite sad.
A lot of producers are raising the same concerns. I think if you look at DRC, Albert de Verlaine in these projects, he's also super concerned.
The list is endless.
Also, all of these great Burgundy producers, their products have flipped over time on the secondary market, which is concerning.
But it doesn't help you're concerned about it. You need to do something about it, and we're going to do something about it. I'm sitting with technologists now.
Okay.
We're going to implant RFID technology in our labels.
Wow.
And when we sell a bottle of wine,
explain
we're going to, RFID is radio frequency identification. Okay. So we can program this bottle. Inside the paper here will be a little antenna that if you buzz it with a frequency, it energizes, and you can put energy in it, and you can take it out. You can lock that information. So I can say, I'm selling this bottle of wine to Lloyd at the Zaxxon. So I put the wine in, I say, Lloyd at the Zaxxon, and I lock it. I sell it to Lloyd. In 4 months' time, I see some Palladius is being traded on an auction website. We buy the bottles.
Okay.
Why not? First of all, we take it out of the market.
Yeah.
But I then put this back and I zap it and I see Lloyd is not pouring our wines at the Zaxxon.
Yeah, he's
Lloyd is skimming cream at the wrong dairy. And I'm like, the next year when you log on to your allocation, you're just going to see nothing.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to deal with it. Our members,
I think it makes sense.
Our members and clients that are going to play outside the notion of goodwill and standing, because I then at that point don't recognize you as a friend of wine.
Yeah.
You're a friend of trade.
Yeah.
You're not interested in this anymore. You're now interested in something completely else. Whoever is partaking in this trading thing, and you're gonna become persona non grata.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's the right way.
We'll still love you.
Yeah,
you're just not gonna get wine.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's what's happening. So we are addressing it, and I have in the next 3 months I'm spending quite a bit of time with these technologists. There's a company in France. And there's a company in America that we're dealing with, and whoever's going to come up with a perfect trading solution, we're going to start putting it in, and we're going to start coding.
I don't know if any of your products have been a victim of counterfeiting.
Luckily, touch wood, not yet.
Yeah, okay.
But we also have the other advantage of that technology is people will be able to go onto the site and proof it, authenticate it. Yeah. So that's an added bonus. Our wine's still too cheap to counterfeit.
Well,
You need to make properly expensive wines to.
people just start kind
Yeah,
of
yeah,
reading it.
no, for sure.
All right,
But
all right.
it's a mess.
Another issue that's close to heart at the moment, you are one of the biggest producers in South Africa in terms of reputation and the quality of products you put out there. Tariffs have very much been on everybody's lips, anyone involved in global trade, particularly with the US market. What is your take on that?
Tariffs is they proper hangovers because they they impact obviously years and years of work, goodwill, standing. The American tariffs is definitely going to hurt us big time. The US is a huge trading partner for South Africa for a lot of agricultural products, and agriculture is going to suffer massively. I know we export also a lot of car components and things like that, so there's going to be a lot of hurt. I pray that people with level thinking can get to other people with level-head thinking, and that we can hopefully resolve it, because it's going to bring nothing good. When we import products from the America, we pay taxes when they come in here, so we can't expect them to not have zero.
Yes.
The world's it's fluid, so we need to negotiate, but negotiations isn't I win every time. Negotiation is give and take. Let's find that middle ground. Obviously,
It's got to be a win-win.
It's got to be a win-win.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would be amazing to have no tariffs for any American. If I want to buy a bottle of American wine, I want to buy it in the US. I want to DHL it here, and that's fine. And likewise, if a guy in America wants to buy a bottle of wine, we should be able to send it there.
Yeah. And there are no
And
penalties.
yeah.
There should be no penalties for that.
We bilateral trade. In our case, there's a huge incentive because we export more than we import. So we actually the worst position. If we had no tariffs for South Africa and America, if we could get to that standing, we still benefit.
Okay.
We still win. We actually at that point the ultimate winner, because it's not level. We export much more than we import. So it's for us. It's pivotal that we don't have a 30% tariff. Okay. The thing is, politicians don't drink enough wine. If they drink enough wine, we would not be at this point.
I think we are probably dealing with whiskey drinkers and rum drinkers.
Yeah, people that drink wine are generally nice people. They're the nicer cut of society.
Now, you've been in the Swartland for a very long time. One of the pioneers of the current, I would say, revolution, right? What, if any, have you seen about climatic change? Is that a real thing? Do you think it affects South Africa or South African producers? What is your take on that?
Yeah, I've been on this climate bucket for a long time. I was on a huge global chat group, agricultural chat group, logged on to in actually 1999 already. I started with this. At that stage, the global discussion was about global warming, but now you only hear the word climate change, because at that point the understanding or the thoughts were, or the indication and all the data that was interpolated and forecasted was suggesting that it was going to get warmer. And that, therefore, the term global warming. But now the word climate change is used because they've realized that the data, the interpolation thereof, and lots of things isn't necessarily just a singular rising trajectory. What's actually happened climatically, globally, it's not just South Africa, is a little bit of the timing belt of the globe slipped. So it's the timing of things. So it's a little bit of the seasonal shift at this stage which is the first stage of it. So what happens is autumn starts later, and the harvesting seasons is still on time. So what's happening is our growing seasons are getting compressed. So then the other thing that happens is the frequency of things. So if you look at just rainfall patterns, if you would have had for the month of July, historically in our area, 150 millimeters of rain, that historically would have dropped out over 9 days, 10 days. Now what's happening is it's dropping out in 3 days. So it's bigger storm systems, higher intensity. So when it rains, it's bucketing down.
Great.
And rain is one of those things. If you wake up in the morning and you look at your rain meter outside your house and it says there's 50 millimeters in it, yes, there's 50 millimeters of rainfall happened, but it actually doesn't say anything to you, because did the 50 mils fall in 1 hour, in 6
crazy.
hours, or in 18 hours? And that is a huge difference, because if the rain came down over 18 hours, it meant that the subtle dropping of it, there would have been penetration into the ground, you're filling the soil tank. If it came down in an hour, very little went in and it all just ran down. It's all down in the rivers and out in the ocean. So you had 50 mils hit the land, but it's not in the land. It's now down the river. So rainfall, frequency, intensity have increased. So huge storm systems, a lot of runoff. Your dams are filling up, which is a good thing. Or if there's no dams, then it's just out in the ocean. The ocean also needs water, fresh water, but your soil tank's not filling up. So that's the one thing. Then the other thing that's happening is when we get heat waves, they're more intense. They last. The intensity, usually where they could have been, say, 8 days of 38, now it's like 4 days of 42 or 44. And then the big thing.
That's wild, eh?
And then the big thing, and here's how big it is. Just in our little organization, in our project, we have 64 vineyards in the Sadie family, which is a lot. Very small ones, dispersed over areas. We have 24 hectares where the winery is. That's our own property. And then we rent another 27 hectares on 17 other different properties. We have weather stations through all of them, so we can compare rainfall intensities, frequencies, wind flow, airflow, dew points, whatever. We interpolating all the data. We processing it to try and see threads down, see patterns. So we used to pick the 64 vineyards in 60 days. So just a vineyard and a little bit in a day. Now we are picking 64 vineyards in 35 days.
Wow.
So we've lost 25 days of work, which means we lose 25 days of attention in harvest. Intention, direction, thoughts, it's compressed. So thank heavens we've got the new winery, but it means we need to work much faster. You need much bigger infrastructure. Before, if you had 2 trucks, now you need 4 trucks. If you had 2,000 picking crates, you need now 3,500 picking crates. If you had 20 people doing the sorting of the grapes, now you need 40. Yeah. So that's the one thing that happened. We have upscaled our infrastructure enormously to accommodate this, but not everybody's in that position. So it means that you'll pick a little bit of your fruit too early. A little bit in the middle section will be good, and the last section will be too late again. We don't want to get involved in that narrative. We want to pick every vineyard on picking day. Okay. So the vintages have become very intense.
Well, Eben, you've been amazing. We have to cap off. I think this has been very informative. But I also know that as Sadie Family Wines, you have some platforms that people can follow you. Would you want to share that with our followers? Yeah.
We stink at social media and all those things. We haven't posted anything. If you want to follow us, you can just go onto our website, www.thesadiefamily.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. That doesn't mean you're going to get wine. It just means you'll get you'll keep afloat with our information. And if you want to find our wine, you're welcome to go to the great wine trading partners in South Africa, but you're also most welcome to jump on our waiting list. And we'll hopefully be able to get you an allocation as soon as one becomes available. I always say just be patient. People get divorced. People die. Things happen. People fall off the list from time to time, and then I can reallocate that to a potential new member, and we would love to have you come on this journey with us, because it's been absolutely amazing.
Epic, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Lloyd.
you.
Thank you also for the time, and to this accent for creating this platform.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yes.
Always a pleasure.